Yeah, there are a few questions from Deanna Durante from NDBC 10. Yesterday, Montgomery County released guidance as it pertains to school sports. First, given the current pandemic, are you supportive of students playing sports?
We did release guidance yesterday and met with all of our school superintendents to review that guidance. And first of all, let me put that guidance into some context. So as those of you that have been watching these briefings know, we've had youth sports playing in Montgomery County, all over Montgomery County all summer, multiple different sports. And that has been the case since we went into the green phase on June the 26th. So we've looked very, very carefully at that data. And what we have found from our contact tracing is a lot of exposure to virus. However, the only documented cases of transmission in any of these teams happened on teams where there was also a social event around a game. And so we cannot say with certainty if the transmission happened on the field or at the social event. So if you look at our guidance, which is now on our school guidance page on our montcopa.org website, one of our recommendations is that there be no social gatherings of these teams of any type. We are recommending that the schools follow the CHOP Policy Lab guidance for school sports, which we think fits very well with our situation here in Montgomery County. And under that guidance, we would recommend the low contact and the moderate contact sports being allowed to proceed given our current numbers here in the county. So that would include things like golf, tennis, swimming, soccer, I believe lacrosse is on that list, and field hockey, which is typically a spring sport for girls. But I think those are the things on that list. And right now we would recommend against football, wrestling, water polo, and basketball. Now, the PIAA, which is the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association, has voted to allow the school districts to make the decision themselves. And so we are working with our school districts. We're providing any guidance they need. We're answering questions. But each of our 22 districts has a independently elected school board. And this is what they're there for, is to make these decisions for their school districts.
I guess that goes to our next question, which is if the school were to choose to play one of the sports that you're saying, like football, shouldn't be playing, then will there be any penalties from the county?
There won't be any penalty, but as we explained to the superintendents yesterday, we will obviously be keeping a very close eye. And should we see transmission in any of those sports, then we would require that they stop playing. But, you know, I do have to say we've had 2 months, a little over 2 months now of sports, and so far have not seen any transmission. So we'll see how this goes. We are going to keep a very close eye on it. But we would continue to recommend not playing those high contact sports. Our numbers really don't justify that will be particularly safe.
Her last question is explaining any special rules that come with the sporting events, such as limitations on spectators.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of important rules. One, I already mentioned the no social gatherings. Two, right. People should have masks on unless they are literally out on the field, and on the sidelines or dugout, whatever it is, people should be socially distanced with masks on. That includes all players and all coaches. In terms of spectators, we have decided to allow spectators that are in the guidance of the governor's opening orders. So what that means for anything indoors, there can be no more than 25 people, which includes the players, the coaches, and the refs. So indoor sports, I wouldn't anticipate there be any spectators. Outdoors, we did tell the schools that they can have up to a total around the field of 250 individuals, which is the maximum for an outdoor gathering, but only if they have a stadium that can accommodate that many people socially distanced. So each household has to be at least 6 feet away in the bleachers from any other household in all directions, and that every one of those spectators must have a mask on.
Okay, that's all the questions that she had.
Okay. All right, so that's it. Any other questions?